Hi everyone, it's Richard from Digital Foundry here.
And it's Tom.
And today we're taking a look at Dark Souls, the original game running under backwards compatibility on Xbox One. And this was a title that we were really looking forward to testing out.
Yeah, indeed. It was pretty much the #1 title for me, so I'm a huge fan of the original. And in that sense, I knew exactly which areas to go for. So obviously we're looking at the intro here, and this is mainly as a comparison of the gamma we're seeing on Xbox One, where it's much darker in line with the other backwards compatible titles we see on Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean Alan Wake's American Nightmare, the game was rendered virtually unplayable by the fact that the gamma was set so low on the Xbox One, and essentially you couldn't really see what you were doing. It's not quite that bad on Dark Souls, but well, there are areas where it's pretty grim.
And another thing to note is you see the frame pacing on Xbox One is far worse than the original version.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. The game is essentially capped at 30 FPS, and on Xbox 360 frames are delivered in an even manner, but on Xbox One, throughout the clip you'll notice that the frame time graph is spiking either towards 16 milliseconds or down to 50, and essentially that gives a choppier presentation. It's the same frame rate, but it looks lower because frames are being delivered in an uneven manner.
And to be clear, this issue was present in a very minimal fashion on the original 360 version, but here it's just, it's far more prominent, and it brings it into line with Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, in fact. From Software's latest titles, just the extremity of the frame pacing issue.
Now the funny thing is that there are areas, seems to be when you enter a new area, for example, where the Xbox 360 will dip but the Xbox One won't. But as we move into this area...
this is the new Londo Ruins.
This is one of the classic areas on Xbox 360 that saw performance issues.
My takeaway from this was there isn't any real gain by going on Xbox One, perhaps a marginal one, but overall you're still resting at that 15 frames per second line. So you may see fluctuations either side, and this is Blighttown as well, another key area which we use for our testing, a notorious sort of 10 frames per second, maybe 15 on the original 360 hardware. And once again, on Xbox One we were wondering which way is this going to go. Is this going to be GPU side or CPU side? And depending on that, would we see a better frame rate as a result of moving to the new hardware? And in truth, we're actually seeing not much of a gain either side.
It seems to be the case that it may well be down to the dynamic nature of the footage, but some areas seem slower, some areas seem faster. But we've got this clip here, which we don't have a 360 equivalent for, and as you can see, we get down to 10 frames per second here, and that is really grim. We're sort of moving into slideshow territory here. Gut feeling marginally slower on Xbox One perhaps, but throughout the duration of the game there's really not much in it at all.
No, agreed. And yeah, this kind of just shows a few later areas to show it's not all bad. You do get 30 FPS in big fights against later bosses, but ultimately when it gets bogged down you're still gonna see the dips to 15 and even 10 frames per second on the backwards compat.
So a bit of a disappointment overall, because there are Xbox One games out there which are GPU bound on original hardware and they actually perform better on the Xbox One, so we were really hopeful that Dark Souls could actually see an improvement on the newer console, but unfortunately it doesn't. Anyway, that's all we've got for now. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon.